My older sister Amy, the perfect Olympian, cut me off and labeled me narcissistic after I tried to support her through her divorce. Now I'm heartbroken and blocked from my nieces and nephews. How did it go so wrong? Am I really the villain here? Hello everyone, I am a 40-year-old female and I am utterly heartbroken. My older sister, whom I will refer to as Amy and who is 44 years old, has completely cut me off and claims that I am narcissistic. She has also blocked me from seeing my nieces and nephews who mean the world to me. I have calmly emailed her multiple times over the past 2 years, offering therapy, mediation, or anything to help resolve our issues, but she has not responded. I feel completely lost, and this estrangement is impacting not only me but also our mother and the entire family dynamic. I would like to provide some background and specific examples in case anyone here can help me understand where things may have gone wrong or what actions I can take to begin the healing process. I am receptive to feedback, even if it is difficult to hear. About Amy. Amy is an incredible person, in many respects intelligent, charming, and extraordinarily persuasive. Her friends have remarked that she could sell ice to an Eskimo. She is also an Olympian. Throughout her life, she has exemplified the classic firstborn, successful, poised, and responsible. I truly admired her, and I still do. As we were growing up, I wanted us to be best friends, share inside jokes, and have a close bond like the sisters portrayed in movies. However, she always maintained a more parental or older sibling distance. While I understand that this is not uncommon, it made me feel as though I was never fully included in her inner world. A notable example from high school. When I was a senior in high school, Amy invited me to her senior sorority play at her university. I attended with my college freshman boyfriend, who was a popular quarterback. During the performance, the seniors performed a skit where they would spill tea anonymously, but it was obvious who they were referring to. Amy stood on stage and remarked something like, "Remember that quarterback who plays well on and off the field? He is even messing around with a high school girl." Everyone in the room turned to look at me. That was how I discovered he was cheating on me with college girls. At the time, I thought my sister was being protective by calling him out. Now I am unsure whether her intention was to help me or to humiliate me. In our adult lives, both of us have experienced marriage and divorce. Amy divorced first, and when I went through my divorce 7 months later, I reached out to her for advice. She responded by telling me to figure it out myself. That comment really hurt, especially since I had tried to support her during her own separation. My ex-husband noticed how Amy interacted with me and suggested that I should be the sister I wished I had. That phrase resonated with me, and I genuinely tried to improve our relationship after that. However, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, I had not heard from Amy for 2 months. I sent her a video expressing that I missed her and the kids, but she replied with a video stating that she was satisfied with our current level of communication and did not see the need for regular conversations. I tried to respect her wishes, but it was painful. After COVID-19, we resumed family visits. When I arrived to visit, Amy did not greet me with a hug. Instead, she merely stared at her phone. My mother and I sat at the dining table expecting to catch up, but Amy remained on the couch holding up her finger and saying, "Wait." Finally, I asked, "What is going on?" She responded, "You are too much for me. I am triggered. I need to decompress." I started crying from shock and hurt, and she said, "See." It felt as if even my emotions were being used against me. The turning point. In the summer of 2023, we had a large beach house vacation planned with extended family, including Amy's current husband, her ex-husband, who are friends, all 4 children, and our grandparents. A minor disagreement regarding the hiring of a photographer escalated into tension between Amy and our father. I attempted to mediate but gently sided with my father, which seemed to be the final straw. Amy confronted me, stating that I was disrespectful, warning me not to speak to her during the trip, and explicitly asserting that she would walk away if I attempted to initiate a conversation. Rather than jeopardize the vacation, I chose to opt out. I said, "I do not want to create drama. I will sit this one out so everyone can enjoy their time." After that incident, during Christmas 2023, I flew home, but Amy refused to let me see my nieces and nephews. She informed our mother that I am narcissistic and blocked me from all forms of communication, social media, phone, and even indirect contact. I used to communicate with her ex-husband, the children's father, just to arrange gifts or offer birthday wishes, but Amy put an end to that as well, insisting that there would be no more backdoor access. I was completely unaware of this situation until I arrived home, and my mother informed me. Since then, I have sent 12 calm emails per year, asking if she would be open to therapy, mediation, or simply discussing our issues. I have acknowledged my flaws and the ways I may have unintentionally hurt her. However, I have received no response. Our mother, who is now 73, is afraid of being cut off by Amy as well, so she treads lightly. I feel entirely isolated from my sister's family. This estrangement hurts more than my own divorce. Why I am posting here? I'm not perfect. I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, clinical depression, anxiety, and I have struggled significantly financially, academically, and professionally. I did not complete college. I frequently find myself between jobs, and I have been labeled the black sheep or perhaps gray sheep of the family. Nevertheless, I have always shown up for my family with love and sincerity. I cherish my nieces and nephews and have made every effort to reconnect with them. They are currently in their preteen years, and I have not hugged them in almost 3 years. If I am a narcissist, I wish to understand that. However, I do not recognize myself in that label. I may be emotionally intense, I might overcommunicate, or I may seek connection more than she does. I may make mistakes, but I have never acted out of malice or manipulation. Additionally, due to my mental health, I have undergone 2 comprehensive psychiatric evaluations, both of which confirmed attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and clinical depression. Is narcissism not also evaluated during those assessments? I seek advice from anyone, especially siblings, who have experienced either side of a situation like this. How do you begin to repair a relationship when someone views you as a threat? Is there anything else I can do? Or should I simply accept this painful silence and move forward with my life? Thank you for reading. Edit updates. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who replied. The general consensus appears to be, let it be, give her space and wait for the children to grow up. That is what I will begin doing from this point onward. As painful as it is, I have done all I can, and I do not wish to continue pursuing someone who does not want a relationship with me. I would have been perfectly content with merely maintaining civility and focusing on family matters. It truly feels like a damned if I do, damned if I don't situation. The original post was even longer, but I edited it for clarity, to provide a bit more insight. My sister has previously expressed that I am simply too much for her. She has described me as having a big personality and being stubborn, and I will admit that my stubbornness has contributed to our issues. One example she shared with my mother was the time I visited her after college. After I finished my shower, I took a towel from her rack. My sister entered the room and exclaimed, "Oh no, why are you using my towel?" I did not understand why this was a problem and responded, "So, we are sisters." She rolled her eyes and left. She later told my mother that this incident was an example of me being narcissistic because my opinion was overwhelming to her. My mother explained that Amy is sensitive about her skin and likely wanted her own towel. I accepted that explanation and did not take her towel again. Another example occurred when she was demonstrating her skincare products, and I remarked, "Oh, I wish I had known about this earlier," in an enthusiastic manner. Amy then told our mother that I was intentionally making her feel guilty for not informing me about the skincare routine, which made her feel like a bad sister. I was taken aback. That was not my intention at all. Unfortunately, she has never directly communicated these feelings to me, and when I have tried to discuss these issues, she often stonewalls me and changes the subject. Consequently, I have let it go. My mother has attempted multiple times to gently ask my sister what exactly went wrong between us, but Amy's default response is always, "I have already said it before. I do not want to discuss it again." The last instance my mother and I can recall her actually discussing it was in 2020. Clarify, yes, I definitely placed her on a pedestal while growing up, and I now recognize how unfair that was to her. That is a significant amount of pressure to bear. However, once I entered college, my perception shifted and I began to see her as simply Amy, not as this unattainable ideal. We were each other's maids of honor. I have even told her, "It is okay if you do not desire a close relationship with me, but I do wish to be involved in the lives of my nieces and nephews." That is what pains me the most. I was actively present in their lives for the first 10 years, monthly FaceTime calls, silly dances, experiments with slime, lava floor games, baking together, and cheering them on at games. The transition from that to complete silence is surreal. Moreover, my parents are in their 70s, and my father suffered a stroke last year. I genuinely hoped for at least a degree of civility. I did not want us to end up in a situation where we were not speaking until our parents' funerals. Unfortunately, I can now realistically foresee that outcome occurring, and it is disheartening. One thing I am grateful for is my circle of 13 amazing women from college. We have maintained our close friendship, and when possible, we even go on annual girls' trips. They have known both me and my sister since our college days, and their perspectives are as follows. Perhaps Amy feels resentment because she is carrying significant responsibilities, while I am child-free and or. There may be elements of white fragility at play. She may not recognize any culpability, leading her to perceive me as a narcissist. They have all reassured me that I have not crossed any significant boundaries as an aunt or attempted to impose a relationship that was unwelcome. They view her reaction as excessive. Additionally, they often say that when I am around their children, I am like Mrs. Frizzle from the Magic School Bus. I am actually a foreign language teacher and educate students of all ages. In any case, I came here seeking clarity and I found it. Thank you sincerely. Story 2. My 17-year-old boyfriend has morphed into a different person by trying to fit in with his chav friends who call me a ting and make sexist jokes. After years of genuine connection, I feel lost crying alone while he scrolls TikTok. How do I reach him before it's too late? So my boyfriend is 17 and I am 2. We have been dating for 2 years and already live together in our own apartment. We had an argument a few days ago and I feel like it has completely ruined our relationship. It escalated so badly that I went to my friend's house for the night while he went away to do some studying for a college exam with a friend. I confided in my friend about the argument, and she was completely understanding and supportive. I do not want to delve into too much detail or I will start to feel negative again, but when I read text messages, I interpret them with a certain tone. He did not quite grasp that, so a few messages he sent came across as really harsh, which upset me. He referred to me as irrational and overly sensitive for perceiving tone in messages or getting hurt over his words. His friends agreed with him. When I returned from my friends, I decided to sit on the balcony and sunbathe while listening to a podcast to calm myself down. He mentioned to his friends that I was just sitting there, and as a joke, they suggested pushing me off. They asked if he was the one who always fixes things, to which he replied yes. In reality, whenever there is a disagreement, I always turn to him to express my feelings and apologize, but he fails to understand how complex and intense my emotions can be. I waited on the balcony until it began to rain, so I set up the sofa like a bed. Finally, he came to me for once. I find all of his friends incredibly immature, and the fact that he is surrounding himself with them is negatively affecting him, in my opinion. This might sound terrible to say, but I really dislike his friends. I am from England, so you may not be familiar with the terms chavs or roadmen if you are not from here, but they have a very recognizable way of speaking and dressing. They sag their pants so their underwear shows and wear fake Gucci crossbody bags and oversized puffer jackets. Unfortunately, we live in an area notorious for these kinds of people, and he is surrounded by them at his work and college. He has started to adopt their way of speaking, which disgusts me. They refer to women as tings, which is objectifying and translates to things. The friend with whom he studied described himself as a serial cheater, which is self-explanatory. This friend also engages in gambling and wants to take my boyfriend along with him when he turns 18, which I vehemently oppose. I feel it is important to mention that my mental health is currently in a highly distressing state. I suffer from severe anxiety. It is so bad I vomit every time I feel nervous, and I am getting diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I struggle with basic tasks, including self-care. With that context, my boyfriend tries to take care of the housework I find challenging to do. I confess I feel guilty every day, feeling useless, and he reassures me that it is all right and that he does not mind looking after me. I have started to make an effort to help out more when I can, but at college, he describes me as lazy, saying I sit at home all day. His friends also label me as lazy and ask, do I need to show her how to do the dishes? And he still maintains friendships with these people. They all speak negatively about me and women in general. One of the friends who made the comment about the dishes is actually a woman, which is the complete opposite of what a woman should be saying. Why is she promoting women as the homemakers? They are incredibly sexist and have a narrow-minded perspective. They believe I should be the one cleaning and cooking. I have told my boyfriend he needs to defend me, but he claims it is difficult since they do not understand mental health, even though he encourages their jokes. This especially hurts because when he supports these jokes or they encourage him, they urge him to put me in my place. Yet when I meet him after work or college and they are present, they suddenly become quiet around me and act all reserved. I feel deeply hurt by these things, particularly because I raised these issues during our argument and now I feel lost. He has changed so much and I cannot tell if it is for the better. I suspect it is not. He occasionally refers to me as a ting or calls me the B word as a joke. He says things like, nah, that's mad G, and it sounds so childish to me. I am from London, so my vocabulary, when I choose to use it, is quite posh, and I absolutely detest when he speaks like this. It feels like he is not himself anymore. He alters his sense of humor to fit in with his friends the chavs, pretending to force me to cook and clean or putting me in my place or saying women are nah, she's fine G, they are just so sexist. And when he comes home from work or college, it feels like we cannot connect. I genuinely do not know what to do in this situation. I acknowledge that I have changed too, but that is due to my mental health. I cannot control when something goes awry in my life that has a crippling negative effect. I am always there for him, even when I feel like I am drowning in my emotions, and he has always been there for me, but the more time he spends with these people, the more he seems to slip away, and I am beginning to feel alone in this relationship. I have to ask him to cuddle me when I just want to be held. Whenever I am upset, he just scrolls through TikTok while lying next to me, even when I am in tears, and I must say, baby, I am really upset. Why aren't you comforting me? I am a very sensitive and emotional person, so I experience feelings intensely. The last thing I want is to break up because I truly love him and enjoy being with him, but I have hit a rough patch and need all the help I can get. I just need some advice. Thank you for taking the time to read this, it means a lot. Summary: my boyfriend has not been communicating with me properly and has started to alter his personality to fit in with his friends, which negatively affects me and my mental health. His friends are not the most pleasant people, and I am unsure of what to do.